But we've got Jeff on the line first. Jeff, welcome to the David Carrier Show.
Hi, David.
Hi, Jeff.
Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you.
Well, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you.
I have a question about things to do after somebody in long care has passed away.
Okay.
My mother-in-law passed away in October, and we used your firm
Okay.
to set up she was in long-term care,
Uh-huh.
used, your firm to get us, the trust set up, and all that
Yeah.
incurs in that. But now here we are over a month after she passed away and wondering, what's next? What do we have to do?
Okay.
This trust-wise, her house, just a lot of questions that are out there that we don't want to make the wrong decisions, like you say.
Sure. So here's the way that works. The assets in the trust, there's a distribution plan built into the trust. The good news is that because the assets are in the trust, then we don't have to go through probate on those, and those can be distributed to the kids now, to the beneficiaries, including your wife. I'm guessing. Now, the way this
Yes.
works is that the successor trustee, whoever is in charge now, their job is to what we call marshal the assets, figure out what's there. This should not be difficult because if we did the Medicaid for her, well, Medicaid is all about what do you have, when did you get it, where is it sitting, all that. So we would have gone through that when we did the Medicaid application for her. So a lot of that work should be done by now. Now there's a house out there, that's fine. Probably did either we had put it in the trust before she went into long-term care, so it'd be in the trust now, or we did one of these transfer on death deeds to put the house in the trust later. So it's either in there already or it went in to the trust when your mother-in-law died. So going ahead to do the go ahead, sell the house. That's going to be fairly straightforward. No big deal. We've got to get whoever because she was in long-term care, your mother-in-law, I'm guessing that we had a successor trustee. So that paperwork's already been done. Now the question is, what do we have? What bills do we need to pay? And then how do we distribute the assets? Like I say, that paperwork should all be done. There shouldn't be any outstanding debts because Medicaid would have taken care of the nursing home bill, and we would have had to deal with any other debts at the time when we did the Medicaid application. Frequently, in a situation like this, for the family members who supplied additional funds so that mother-in-law could have a private room or laundry service or whatever, we will have accumulated that we secured that by the house. I don't know if that's the case here. If it is, that would probably be like the only outstanding debt there would be. And then comes the distribution to the family. Generally speaking, if there's a house and nobody wants it, right, then my advice is to sell it through the trust. You don't want to deed it out to the kids and then try to work it that way. Forget about it. It's in a central location. Let's sell it, and then you're going to divide the proceeds. Now, Jeff, I'm just guessing from the tone of your voice that you are a seasoned citizen. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So for older, folks like us, the long-term care is an issue for you personally, you and your wife. Personally, it's an issue. And one of the things that we guard against is people getting an inheritance that's going to work negatively when it comes to them getting the long-term care. So we would have set up the trust, and I haven't looked at the trust, you know that. I mean, you just called in. But this is the way we do it 100% of the time. So I'm pretty confident, very confident in saying that any proceeds you would get from the sale of the house, and again, this is where it has to be done correctly. We don't want those proceeds to be distributed to you or your wife directly, because what we set up in the trust, what your mother-in-law set up in the trust, were trusts for each of the beneficiaries. Now, you don't have to take advantage of that if you don't want to, but it would be a good idea, because any proceeds that you get, any money that you get from the trust is going to be what we say off the table, not countable by Medicaid, not countable by creditors. Okay. And when you're getting up there in years, you know how you already know, you've been through it with your mother in law. Long term care is a real thing. It's very easy to live in denial about it, but not when you've seen it. And so the inheritance that you get from that your wife gets from her mom is not going to be at risk to long-term care, to creditors, to anything else, because of the way we set up the trust, because of the way she set up the trust, back in the day. So calling the office would be a very good idea. Meet with one of our attorneys. We've got some videos, if you prefer, on how this stuff goes. But we'd have you sit down probably with Terry, Terry Macklin, who does the trust administration, just to say, okay, here are the things that need to be done. Here are the notices. Here's how you do the accounting. But fundamentally, you're in good shape. Not only in terms of getting the thing sold, but also the follow-on. We're going to avoid probate on the sale. We'll be all good to go on that. The bills should all have been paid because she was on the Medicaid. That should have been handled. But then also, and most importantly, in my opinion, when you get that inheritance, that is not going to negatively affect you or your wife. Now, you can do whatever you want with the money. That's up to you. But because mother-in-law created these trusts, now you don't have to worry that, oh, if I have long-term care, need long-term care, my wife does, this will just be more money that goes out the window to pay for it. No, it's protected for you, for your wife, and then, at one remove for you as well. Okay?
Okay. There is, you said that long-term care should be covered by Medicaid. We have been receiving, or we have received from the long-term care facility, a bill. Should we wait on that, or should we pay for that out of the trust money?
Yeah, I wouldn't pay for it. I contact Terry. Just contact the office, right? 616-361-8400, right? We might tell you to pay the bill, we might tell you not to. It just depends. But I wouldn't just blanket. We don't we don't like people paying bills until we know why. Okay?
Right.
Right? You may not have to.
Something wrong.
Right, absolutely. Hey, Jeff, if you don't mind hanging on, we can wrap this up in the next segment.